Well, time to regroup for the June level 1 candidates that are now writing in December. I'm sure you're all aware of the news. It'll be sometime in December. The dates, the exact dates that it can be rescheduled to, haven't been released yet. For level 1 candidates who were going to write in December anyways, well, nothing that has occurred affects you. Your date is still December 5th. You still have 259 days to the exam. So for those who are registering for December, you're just beginning. At that pace, you're looking at about 4.5 days per reading. 4.5 days, by the way, that's not taking any time off for review. That's just the content. For those of you who are rescheduling, who are going to write in June, many of you were probably 60, 70, 80% of the way there already. So that the extra 6 months you now have is a little overkill, because from where we stand now at 259 days to the exam, that's roughly about 8.5 months. That's probably overkill. Some of you were at the stage where with less than 90 days to go, you were probably saying, look, I'm not going to make it here. I'm halfway through the content. I got the other half to go. I don't really have a firm grasp on everything. Then I've got to do review and consolidate, do some mock exams. I'm running out of time. What a wonderful gift you've been given now. You've been given the opportunity to see how little time you had, and then it was extended for you. So learn from that. Don't just put this on the shelf for 4 months and come back to it in October and then say the same thing again. I'm out of time. You've been given the gift of seeing what time, how valuable time can be, and now you've been given that time. So use it wisely. I would, for those of you who are preparing for June, this is a great time to go back and redo those difficult readings, the ones you thought that you would have to give up on, the ones you said, look, I'm going to let this go and I'm going to let that go. Now you have time. Go back. You can spend a whole week on that reading, or maybe even 2 weeks on that reading, and go slow. And say, you know what, I'm not going to let this beat me. I'm going to get this one. The better and the more solid the foundation you build at level 1, the easier level 2 is, and the easier level 3 becomes. Because there are a lot of callbacks in level 2 to level 1, and even in level 3 there are callbacks to level 1. So the better the foundation you have, the easier it is going forward. And use the review videos often so that you don't let things slide. I've done this in the other two videos for level 3 and level 2, so I'm going to do it for you as well. If we do a timeline from the time you start to exam time, and let's say that this was the June exam, when you start learning, the information and the knowledge sort of comes slowly at first, and then it starts to coalesce in your mind, and you sort of peak somewhere before the exam, and then you sort of try to consolidate into the exam. And many of you were probably right about there on the learning curve, ready to enter into that consolidation period where you were, 60, 70, 80% done. What happens is if you let it go, that knowledge tends to leak away. If you don't use it, or if you don't recall it often enough, you do forget it. That is natural. And then we extend this out. We're at the December exam. You got to ramp up that knowledge again before you can get into the consolidation phase again. So what you want to do is you want to use the review videos, hopefully to, not have that big of a decay in the knowledge that you have, so that when you do have to ramp up into the December season, it's not as if you have forgotten so much that you feel like you're starting over again. So use those videos often. And again, if you were really set to write the June exam, well, 8.5 months. You don't need 8.5 months. It's okay to take the next 30 or 60 days off. Put this on the shelf and take care of yourself. Take care of the things that need to be taken care of, because we are going through some curious times right now. A word about the face here. That's supposed to be a smiley face because you have more time. It was a smiley face in the last 2 videos, and somebody made a comment that it looked like Trump, and I thought, well, this looks like Trump. I tried to make this one look as much as possible like Trump as I could. I couldn't get, I don't know if I got the right shade of orange for the face, but I know that he doesn't put that cream around his eyes and his mouth, so he's got these little white things going on. So I tried to get as close to Trump as I possibly could. Don't ask me why it makes sense to put it there. Just I started with a smiley face, and all those years of art school, I thought, well, let's draw, let's make it look like Trump. If you think it looked like Trump in the other videos, that's exactly, I don't know. Tell me how close I got. Anyways, there you go. There's your task. If you were scheduled for June and you felt prepared for June, you don't want to lose that level of preparation you have, but to maintain exam readiness for 8.5 months, you're going to burn out. It's just too far away to keep at that level that you were at, that level of intensity. Let it go. Let it slide a bit. But just use those reviews. Maybe once a week, set aside 4 or 5 hours where you're just going to cycle through the review videos just to keep current. And then you can hit it again in once we get into late July, early August, when there's 3-4 months from the exam, then you can ramp up into exam mode again. But by using those reviews, you'll at least stay current. If you were already planning for December and you weren't going to sit in June anyways, well, you're at the beginning of your journey. Manage your time. If you go to the site, if you are a subscriber, left menu, there's a planner. Use it. We've changed the dates. There is no June date anymore. We've set all the dates to 5th, only because we really don't know when the level 1 June dates are going to be rescheduled. December 5th, sorry, we set them all to December 5th. December 5th seems like a logical place to be. I think they'll be in and around that date. So if you were using the level 1 planner to plan out your June exam, you'll notice that the date is now being changed to December. It will change all of your stats for you to reflect the fact that you've got all that time. So if you log in and you look at your stats, you'll say, well, I only have to do so many hours a week now. So low. Yeah, because you've done so much. It scheduled everything you had based on December, not June. If you're not a subscriber to the site, you can register for free. That planner is free. It's one of the most, I think, detailed planners out there. And we do continually update the algorithm. So as we get more and more statistics and we see how people are interacting with it and how they're doing on the quizzes, we do fine-tune the algorithm to get better and better at it. So the more people using it, the better we can make it, because we need huge data sets. Mock exams for level 1, they will stay live. For level 2 and 3, we turn them off till September, but we're going to keep these ones live. And when I get down here to the blue writing down here, I'll explain why we've kept them live. Office hours, if you had the office hours add-on, we're suspending office hours for now because we were coming near the end of office hours. Well, it doesn't make sense to finish up this far away from the exam. We're going to restart at September 1st. And we'll resume from the beginning, which means I'll start and I'll cycle through all the sections again, quant, fixed income, etc. So we'll start over from the beginning again. So if you have the office hours add-on and you haven't been attending, actually no one has been attending really, it didn't turn out as successful as I would have liked it to. But relaunching it again in September, 3 months in front of the exam, I think will improve that attendance. Also, because I have more time now, throughout the years that I've been doing this, time has been that one commodity I just never had enough of. So we would use outside writers to build our question bank because I just didn't have the time to get it done. Over the years, I've squeezed out all the writers at level 3 and I've made it all mine. Same with level 2, I've squeezed out a lot of the writers and about 70% of level 2 is all mine. But level 1, I think I only have about, of the 57, 58 readings, only 7 I think are my questions. The rest are outside writers. And it's time to replace those because I've always been a little disheartened with the quality of the questions. I've always wanted to replace it. I've just never had the time. Now I'm being given a gift, about a 3-month window where I get to just fix all these little things I don't like. So I am redoing the question bank top to bottom, and I am increasing the amount of questions by 20%. So in every reading, if there's a reading with 50 questions, I am getting rid of those 50 and I'll replace them with 60 questions. So I'm going to up every reading by about 20%. And when I'm doing a reading, I usually write more than 60 questions. I'll upgrade the question bank by about 20%, and then all the overflow will go to start replacing all the exam questions that aren't mine. So that when we get to September, there will be a new slate of mock exams. So that's why we're leaving these ones open, because they are going to disappear as I replace questions Once we get to September, there'll be a whole new slate of mock exams in there. I think right now we have enough for six full AM and PM exams in the question bank or in the exam bank, so that by the time we get to September, there'll be a whole new slew available for you as well. So that gives you a lot to work with there. And finally, for fall 220, what is our strategy? For those that were set to write in June, you were probably planning on writing level 2 next June. How do we get you to that same position so that when we get to June 2021, you're sitting and you're writing the level 2 exam, you're right where you would be? That's what we want to get to. If you write in December, by the time you get your results, you may not have the time to prepare for level 2. But right now you have way more than enough time to prepare for level 1 because you were 60, 70, 80% prepared anyways. So what I suggest is to, once we get into the fall, start studying for level 2 concurrently using a tapering strategy where hopefully by September, October, you've got level 1 pretty solid and you just need to do mock exams every now and then. You want to pick up some level 2 sections where the learning will reinforce what you've done at level 1. In other words, it'll make you even better at those level 1 readings because the level 2 continue on. They build on the same knowledge. So pick up some level 2 sections and start studying concurrently. If you can knock off 1 or 2 sections before the exam and then another 1 or 2 sections between the exam and the date the results come out, you might be 40% done level 2 when the results come out, which would put you pretty much where you would be had you just started level 2 in the fall anyway. So the sections that I find that really help reinforce level 1, corporate finance. In fact, 3 of the readings in corporate finance really build on 3 of the readings at level 1, capital budgeting, cost of capital, and ESG, governance and ESG. Derivatives at level 2, only 2 readings, but they are considered quite difficult. If you can handle the derivatives at level 2, level 1 derivatives is a joke. Really, it's a joke. Equity, long. This one is long. And it does reinforce level 1 equity, but really only 1 reading. Return concepts in equity or market return. I forget the exact name of the reading. I think it's the last reading, equity valuation and return concepts, something like that. It's 8 readings long, and it's really long. It's not challenging. Level 2 equity is not difficult. It's just long. There seems to be a lot of it, but it's fairly straightforward to figure out. The algebra is not difficult at all. And then alternative investments. There's 4 readings at level 2 in alternative investments. If you can understand those 4 readings, level 1 alternative investments is easy. So these really build on level 1 information. FRA, not so much. FRA gets very specialized at level 2. Not really going to help you understand level 1 at all. It doesn't really expand on anything at level 1. It goes into new territory that doesn't really help. Same with quant. It's new stuff that really doesn't feed back very well on level 1. But these, I seem to think that if you know these sections, it really helps you understand level 1 a lot better. So do a tapering strategy. So if you're heading into the December exam for level 1, you can also layer on some level 2 content as well on top of that, that helps you reinforce level 1. And again, if you were preparing for June, you've got more than enough time. So if you do this, going into the exam, pick up 1 or 2 sections into the exam, and then between the exam date and results, keep going. If you can get these 4 knocked out by the time the results come out, I think you're pretty good. Because level 2 ethics is really just the code and standards, of which you've already done at level 1. So going into the exam, you pretty much got level 2 ethics done anyways. So to do another 4 sections, all you got are 5 sections. That's, you're done 50%. And you could be sitting for level 2 next June when you would be sitting for level 2 next June. So there we go. If you're going to do this tapering strategy, manage your time, right? If you were just making a run for level 1 for December, if you do it well, if you manage your time, you might be able to knock off 1 or 2 sections as well, but I wouldn't recommend it if you're just starting. You really keep your eye on the prize, focus on level 1, and then between the exam and the results date, you can knock off 2 or 3 sections so that when the results come out, you're set to go. The reason I say wait till the fall is because this will be 2021 content as of August. Right now we have 2020 content. Wait till August, it'll be 2021 content. And for every section you pay for, when you do pass level 1 and you sign up for level 2, whatever sections you pay for, they get deducted off the total price that you would pay for level 2 anyways, which means you would never pay more for level 2 by doing it this way. You'd pay the same no matter what. So there we are.